Tommy Robinson was back in court today. Why? Get this headline, ladies and gentlemen, for harassing and causing fear to the very media that did exactly that to Tommy Robinson's family, causing fear and intimidation and doxing Tommy and his family and causing a great deal of harm to potentially befall upon Tommy's family. Now, obviously, Tommy Robinson, being the father that he actually is, wants to protect his kids from the likes of Muslims turning up at his house that are trying to end his life and his family's life. The man just spent, I don't know, almost 7-8 months in solitary confinement in Wood Hill Prison for a crime that he did not commit, a civil offense which earned him apparently the place of solitary confinement somehow. Tommy has faced challenge after challenge recently. And, well, ladies and gentlemen, what is his real crime? Well, his real crime is outdressing everyone in the courtroom. That's the first crime, I think. The man looked ready to take on whatever it was, right? So this story is a wild one. Apparently, Tommy Robinson has been accused of harassing 2 journalists after sharing multiple posts on social media. He didn't dox them. He didn't say where they lived or where their families are. None of that stuff. But that's more than I can say for what these 2 journalists did, because they did exactly that. The Daily Mail, I believe, is the organization the journalists working for, decided to dox Tommy Robinson and his family, take photos, harass his family, take photos of them while they're in the pool. It was truly horrendous. And why in the world is Tommy Robinson supposedly in trouble here? For doing what exactly? For trying to get the paparazzi off his back? The paparazzi are a huge nuisance. What good are they to society? Not good at all. In fact, we are now considered the media, not them. They're just a bunch of harassment dingbat assholes. Tommy, on the other hand, has done absolutely nothing wrong, but yet they force him all the time to enter into court. For what reason? For what reason? It's honestly absurd. Here is Tommy Robinson getting out of court and telling everyone his thoughts about the matter. Honestly, it would infuriate me. It really would. And it's amazing how Tommy is actually managing to keep it all together. He's a very strong man. Let's just say that. Have a watch of this.
Tommy, can you describe to people watching? Excuse me, turn it down. Can you describe what has just happened?
They've read out my charges, which basically what they're saying is the mainstream media can track your family down. They can take pictures of innocent family members. They can give the location, which if you follow the 2-day slot of when they've done this, resulted in Somalians with machine guns threatening to murder my family, threats to kids, Muslims giving the address away of the location of my family, 6 different groups turning up at the family hotel where we were. The managers of the hotel put me in a side room saying, we're scared for the safety of all the guests of this hotel. That is what the Mail done. They didn't need to locate my family. They could have run the story around publishing where we were. They didn't need to publish any pictures of innocent people. Yeah? I now face prosecution for saying I'm going to ask them some questions. I'm going to come and ask you questions on camera. And do you know what I made very clear in the charges? I'm not going to show where you live. I'm not going to publish innocent pictures of your family. Yeah? I'm not going to do that. But what the mainstream media don't want is anyone asking them questions. They don't want anyone asking them any questions. So because I want to ask them questions, I now face another year in lawfare. I'm on trial October 2026. 2026. So
why is it taking that long to schedule this case? Why have you got to wait?
That's fast.
Oh, my God.
Someone was in here the other day, 2028, so they've accelerated it. That's fast. The court backlog at the minute is 3 years, 4 years. But they've accelerated it, and I'm on trial October 2026, where when I get a chance before a jury, I can show what the journalist done. In fact, there's articles of them celebrating what they done. We made Tommy Robinson on a sunbed the poster of last year's riots. Last year's riots, the poster was not Axel Rudakabana. That's not the image that they want people to remember. They want me on my sunbed. Which I'm not bothered about the picture of me on my sunbed. I'm bothered that they located and doxed and gave the location of my children. You can hear the messages of evidence. It's me saying to them, how do you think it's fair to endanger my kids? How do you think that's right to endanger my kids? That's what they've done. They knew what they were doing. They've tracked that. That's not the first time they've turned up on my family holiday taking pictures of my family. They've done it. You've got images. You've got messages from my daughter saying, Dad, they're taking pictures of us in the pool. Dad, Dad, Dad. It's like, how do they think that's acceptable? And then because I say to them, I'm going to ask you some questions. I'm going to come with my camera now, yeah? And you're going to be a topic of my conversation and my story. They run to the police. And then the police now give me conditions, limiting what I can say and do, limiting what I can show. So, yeah, it's frustrating. It's frustrating, but it gives me a chance to, again, they think I'm on trial now. The Daily Mail are going to be on trial. Their behaviour, their tactics are going to be on trial, and the jury are going to get shown what they've done to my family. And the jury are going to get shown what they intentionally done to my family. What was the need to put pictures of innocent family members when they know there's threats to attack my ex-wife with acid? Why would you show a picture of her? Why would you do that? What story, what part were my children or my ex-wife or innocent people, how were they part of this story? They weren't. They purposely done it on behalf of the British state at a time when they wanted to put a target and pressure on me and my family. That's what they did. So it's a form of intimidation. The media were used as a weapon of intimidation against me at that time, and they wanted to frame me for the riots. We all saw Keir Starmer. Keir Starmer come out, it was the far right, it was Tommy Robinson, he's fled the country. What did I have to do with the riots? Nothing. What was my message during the riots? Stay calm, stay peaceful, stop the violence. But they lied to everyone. They wanted to frame me. The report that's come out now after the police investigation into the riots, nothing to do with the far right. Keir Starmer lied. The government lied to you. The media lied to you. Daily Mail lied to you. They all lied. They all lied. Yeah? And then I'm the one that faced prosecution. Not them. I'm the one that faced... Does Nick Lowles face prosecution? Does Nick Lowles, who said that Muslim women were being attacked with acid, which inflamed the situation during the riots, which resulted in Muslims getting tooled up, weaponed up, and thinking they're going out to defend their community against acid attacks, it was all a lie by Nick Lowles. Does he face prosecution? How the hell am I... The only person who faced prosecution is me. I didn't lie.
Has your bail conditions been varied since we appeared?
No, I still have bail conditions, which limits me about certain things I can say and do. Yeah.
So, final question, Tommy. An amazing event is being planned for the 13th of September. What can you tell people about that event?
It's going to be the biggest free speech festival that Europe has ever seen. It's got some of the most influential figures and names across the world coming. And do you know what? The more they want to censor our free speech, I think the British public is going to show the establishment and show, unfortunately, these fucking frauds. These frauds, yeah? Do you know what? As the mainstream media, no one looks at your stories anymore. You don't get many likes, you don't get many interactions. We are the media. We're the media, and that upsets you. I know it upsets you. You don't have the control over the public anymore because the lies you wish to tell, we can now counteract their lies. We get... And again, what they've done is my ability to counteract their lies, because I made a film that showed the truth on this. You then use the court and the CPS to make me delete the film. It's just mad. Where is the free speech? Free speech will be on full view September 13th in central London in a festival of freedom with music, celebration of identity, and the biggest names around the globe come into central London to stick their fingers up at the establishment to say that we will have our free speech. So, yeah.
Yep, can't ask the mainstream media any kind of questions at all, especially if they're doing the wrong thing. Why is it that the mainstream media can get away with doxing and causing a great deal of harm and grief to an innocent man and his family, and you have several groups of Muslims turning up, threatening to grape his kids? Like, how in the world can the mainstream media get away with this and not be charged? And you know what Tommy was doing? He wasn't harassing them at all. He was saying, I'm going to turn up. I'm not going to show where you live. I'm not going to do any of that sort of stuff because I'm not you. I'm different to you guys. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you questions. But apparently, you're not even allowed to ask questions nowadays, because if you ask questions to mainstream media, they get afraid. Now, doesn't that signal out to each and every one of you how absurd and how crazy this all is, right? The mainstream media are responsible for asking questions and creating an honest story, right? An unbiased story. But yet you can't ask the mainstream media why they're doing something. And they get scared. Oh, no, we're actually doing the wrong thing. What are we going to do about it? They don't want to be perceived to be in the wrong. Sometimes the mainstream media and the journalists are in the wrong. Clear as day. But yet Tommy Robinson is the one in court, not those journalists, that caused his family a great deal of harm and grief because they took photos of him and his kids, and it had an after effect, and it was quite a horrible after effect, I might add. They don't understand the repercussions, the consequences to their actions. An innocent man and his family are at stake because of what they did. And all Tommy did was, as he described in the court today, he just wanted to ask questions. What's going on? Why are you doing this? For what end and what purpose are you guys doing this to us? We've done nothing to you. It makes no sense at all. And as Tommy Robinson so rightly points out, get stuffed. Like, screw you all. You're not the media anymore. No one cares about the mainstream media because they lie through the skin of their teeth. I am all in favor of what Tommy Robinson is doing. I really am. I think it's bold and it's brave, and he's a very courageous man. He doesn't deserve any of this. He just got out of prison, solitary confinement, and yet he's back in court for something he didn't even do. They've got a rod after him, man. And you know what? People that are foolish, they will believe in what the mainstream media did as being right. You see a lot of people nowadays siding with a lot of evil, which is quite concerning. But now we've got evil has become good and good has become evil, apparently. So people like Tommy are a rare breed, ladies and gentlemen. That's definitely for sure. But anyway, pray for Tommy. You guys take care, be blessed, and I'll see you all in the next video.